Wait, stop everything, because the Senate math just got hit with a lightning bolt. We're seeing data points that should not be possible in this environment, and the fight for control in 2026 has officially entered a state of absolute unmitigated chaos. We have to start with the absolute earthquake coming out of the Hawkeye State. For years, Iowa has been written off as a lost cause for Democrats, a ruby-red fortress in the heart of the Midwest. But the latest data from Echelon Insights just dropped a total bombshell. The Democratic candidate, Walz, is actually leading the Republican Hinson 46% to 44%. That is a 2-point advantage in a state that has been trending away from the blue column for a decade. This isn't just a fluke. It represents a massive shift in the suburban collar counties and a resurgence of the rural outreach strategy that Democrats have been desperate to revive. If the GOP can't hold on to a seat like this, their dreams of an easy path to the majority are effectively dead on arrival. We are seeing a real, measurable movement among independent voters who are clearly looking for a fresh direction. It's early, but right now Iowa is sitting at a stunning tilt Democrat. Let's tear through the map to lock in the foundations, moving west to east. Out on the coast, Oregon is solid Democrat, while Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana remain unshakable fortresses for the GOP, each rated solid Republican. Dropping into the heartland, the Republican grip is absolute in South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, as these states stay solid Republican. Meanwhile, we see a blue wall holding firm in Colorado and New Mexico, both rated solid Democrat. Sweeping through the deep South and up the mountains, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, and West Virginia are all staying solid Republican. In the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, Illinois, Virginia, Delaware, and New Jersey are effectively off the table for the GOP rated solid Democrat. New data from the University of New Hampshire puts Senator Markey up 23 points in Massachusetts and Senator Reed up 18 in Rhode Island, keeping both safe Democrat. Finally, Stetson University shows the Republican candidate with a 7-point lead in Florida, making it likely Republican. Heading into the Great Plains, Nebraska remains an ironclad stronghold for the Republicans. Even with those recent whispers of independent energy we've seen in past cycles, the Cook Political Report indicates a total shutdown of any competitive path for the opposition this time around. The Republican dominance here is essentially baked into the state's political DNA, making any hope of a flip feel like a total impossibility. Nebraska is solid Republican, shifting focus to the Granite State, where we usually expect a white-knuckle finish. The University of New Hampshire just released data that feels like a total knockout. New Hampshire, where Chris Pappas is currently dominating with 52% to Brown's 38%. Seeing a 14-point chasm in a traditional battleground is absolutely stunning, suggesting the Democratic base is more energized than anyone predicted. New Hampshire is safe Democrat. Look at the Peach State, where John Ossoff is absolutely defying the gravity of a midterm cycle. Echelon Insights just dropped a number that should have Republicans sounding the alarm. Ossoff is sitting at 52% to Carter's 43%. That 9-point cushion in a state once decided by razor-thin margins is jaw-dropping. It suggests the Democratic coalition in the Atlanta suburbs is only hardening. Georgia is likely Democrat. Switching gears to the Tar Heel State, Roy Cooper is showing exactly why he's the Democrats' prize recruit this cycle. High Point University just released a shocker, showing Cooper hitting 50% while the Republican candidate sits at 42%. This 8-point gap suggests the Cooper brand is translating perfectly to the federal level, turning a purple battleground into a blue-leaning fortress. North Carolina is likely Democrat. Sherrod Brown is staring down a brutal uphill climb in the Buckeye State, where Echelon Insights just pulled back the curtain on a 6-point deficit for the veteran Democrat. Ohio data shows Houston is commanding 51% of the vote, leaving Brown trailing at 45%. This 6-point gap suggests the state's red shift is accelerating, putting one of the Democrats' most resilient fighters in serious jeopardy. Ohio is likely Republican. Let's fly up to the last frontier, where Mary Peltola is absolutely tearing up the traditional playbook. Alaska Survey research just caught everyone off guard, showing Peltola holding a commanding 49 to 43% lead over Dan Sullivan. A 6-point advantage in this rugged terrain is massive, proving her unique brand is cutting through the partisan noise. This isn't just a ripple, it's a tidal wave. Alaska is likely Democrat. Next, we're zeroing in on the North Star State, where Peggy Flanagan is demonstrating exactly why Minnesota remains a tough nut for the GOP to crack. Fresh data from Emerson College puts Flanagan at 47%, maintaining a solid 6-point advantage over Tafoya's 41%. This margin shows the Democratic base is locked in, effectively neutralizing Republican hopes of an upset in this critical Midwestern corridor. Minnesota is likely Democrat. Maine is throwing a total curveball at the national map, where Susan Collins' long-standing grip appears to be slipping. Fresh data from Echelon Insights reveals Plattner securing 51% of the vote, opening up a significant 6-point lead over the Republican incumbent's 45%. Seeing a legendary moderate like Collins trailing by this much suggests a fundamental realignment among the state's independent voters. Maine is likely Democrat. Hold on to your hats because the Lone Star State is officially entering a new dimension of political chaos. Texas Public Opinion Research just released a survey that's sending shockwaves through the GOP establishment, showing the Democrat Tallarico grabbing 46% against Ken Paxton's 41%. A 5-point cushion for a Democrat in Texas is practically unheard of, signaling that the long-awaited demographic dam might finally be breaking. Texas is lean Democrat. Crossing over to the Great Lakes state, the blue wall appears to be reinforced with heavy-duty steel. New numbers from Emerson College show Michigan, where Stevens hitting 47%, carving out a crucial 5-point lead over Rogers, who trails at 42%. While the GOP banked on this being their premier pickup opportunity, Stevens is currently neutralizing that threat by locking down the suburban corridors. It's a massive breath of fresh air for the party. Michigan is lean Democrat. Look at this map. We're witnessing a total reimagining of the American political landscape. From the stunning breakthrough in Texas to that shocking resilience in the Midwest, the GOP's path to power is narrowing to a razor-thin margin while Democrats are carving out a dominant new majority. When you add it all up, the final tally is 52 seats for the Democrats and 48 for the Republicans. That's a firm blue majority with 0 toss-ups left on the board. The momentum is undeniable. Make sure to like and subscribe for every update. We'll see you on the next one.